You're listening to the Rotten Gems podcast.
A show where three dudes talk about movies we love
that critics thought should take a permanent trip to Moron Mountain.
Let's get rotten. If you're still listening, whether it's on purpose or you and a friend went out to golf, and as your friend reached down to grab his ball, he got sucked into the hole into another dimension, and then you just carried on with your everyday life as if nothing ever happened. But before you left, you picked up your friend's phone and saw that it mysteriously landed on this Rotten Gems podcast, so you decided to give it a listen? Well, we thank you. And who exactly is we? I think it's time I introduce you to my co-hosts.
From Arizona State, I'm Keenan.
and from Arizona State. Coming in at 5'7", Marcus.
And I'm Brett. And just so you know, Marcus, when we told you had to say your height before, we were hazing you. You don't have to tell people that. But today is a very special episode because we are joined by our special guest, friend of the pod. Welcome, our special guest, John.
Thank you.
John, where are you from? Where are you residing from? What's your stats?
Well, first off, happy to be here, guys. And Phoenix, Arizona, size 6'7".
He a tall bitch.
Size 6'7". You heard it here, folks. John is a size 6'7".
Yep.
All right. So happy to be back, guys. It's been some time. Sorry, I was making some food and the microwave just took forever, but I'm glad that we're back. How you guys been? How's life treating you?
I've been sitting here the whole time, just waiting.
Your hair is much longer than the last time I saw you.
Well, I've been sitting here the entire time. No time to shave, no time for a haircut. I haven't brushed my teeth.
Just dedication.
Just this guy bleeds commitment. That's all we'll say. But if you are here joining us, you're joining us because you saw the episode title or the description, or you just love us so much. Today we're talking about the 1996 hit question mark classic question mark. You decide. Not all the same. It's the 1996 film Space Jam, starring Michael Jordan and Wayne Knight. If you haven't seen this movie and you want to, for some reason, just know that we are about to give spoilers for a 1996 movie. All right, so the reason we're talking about Space Jam tonight, fellas, is that it didn't do so well with critics. It landed a 45% on Rotten Tomatoes, with a 63% from fans, and that translated to a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb, out of a whopping 192,000 reviews. That is 6.5 dropped anvils, 6.5 fake wall-painted tunnels, or 6.5 bottles of Mike's Secret Stuff out of 10. So, Keenan, Marcus, and John, when did you guys first see this movie? Walk me through when you guys first saw this movie and what life was like in good old 1996, or whenever you did see it.
Ooh, 1996. That was a prime year for me. I mean, this is back in the days where you could wear Looney Tunes on your clothing and be considered cool. Now that I do it, people look at me weird. But I remember seeing this movie at a friend's house. I can't remember. Wait, was that you, Marcus?
My memory's a little foggy, but I do remember seeing it with a little bearded 7-year-old. What was that? You?
Oh yeah, beard since very, very early in life.
Just
not
came
birth.
Out the
That's
womb.
Ridiculous.
Okay, yeah.
don't be ridiculous, Brett. Nobody comes out of the womb with a beard.
I mean, if there's anybody that would, it would be Keenan or John. What about you, John? When did you see
people?
What about you, John? When did you see this movie first?
Well, this movie holds a special place for me, so I'm excited for us to be able to talk about it. I saw this in the movie theaters in the beginning, and then multiple times at home. Grew up playing basketball, so this movie hits a little different for me. But yeah, it's good memories.
And in the 90s, what a time to be alive for basketball. Can you just think of all the names in basketball during that time? Outside of Jordan. Jordan is GOAT. I don't care if people out there think LeBron is GOAT. I 100% disagree. The game was different. Back in the 90s, you played aggressive. Now, if you get touched, it's go to the foul line. But, Jordan in the 90s, that's prime. Come at me.
Hey guys, I just want to let you know this was our way of tricking Brett into a sports podcast.
Got you.
It's so funny, you guys. I was just gonna say, so 1996, right? I was 4 years old when this movie came out. I can't remember the first
and no
time
beard.
Yeah, no beard today, even. But thanks for reminding me.
No change there.
But I can't remember when I first saw this movie, but like I mentioned before on the pod here, but I had maybe 5-10 VHS movies to my name as a child, and I had a TV in my room as a kid that didn't have cable, but I had a VCR. So if I wanted to watch something in the room, it was one of my just small collection of movies on repeat. And this was one of those movies that I had. I even got the edition that came with the little coin. I don't know if you guys had that. Like you had like the Toon Squad on one side and the Monstars on the other. That was like my prized possession, and I wish I still had that.
That sounds
I don't know
awesome.
how much that thing sells for now, but I'm kind of scared to look it up. Also, like Pokemon cards, what were we doing? Like, what if I could go back to my childhood self and be like, "Don't open that, save it." I would be a millionaire. But that's another discussion. But at the ripe age of a child, I still didn't have all my interests fledged out yet, and I didn't know that I wasn't a sports guy yet. So when I watched this movie, I was obsessed with it, and I was like, "Oh, this is so good! I love all these guys whose sports names I know, but not because I watch sports, but because I've seen this movie so many times." So I'm really glad that we're having this discussion from both perspectives today, from the sports guys and the not sports guy.
I don't think
this
you
will
know
be
yet.
fun.
I think you still might be deciding if you're a sports guy.
You
This
have
is
a
just a
long
phase.
time. Yeah.
I definitely was not in the sports when I was really into this movie. And you know what? It just took a little bit, a couple decades. Now I'm totally in the sports. Just,
I mean, but here's
some
the
of
thing:
us
is
are
like
late bloomers.
Yeah.
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I am not into sports right now. Whereas as a child, I just didn't know if I was into sports, so I just approached everything with casual optimism. So that'll come out in our discussion today. But for those that haven't seen Space Jam, or you just needed a little refresher, a quick synopsis. In a desperate attempt to win a basketball match and earn their freedom, the Looney Tunes seek the aid of retired basketball champion Michael Jordan. Which, just reading that synopsis, seems like just a dream that somebody would have. You know, when you wake up and then you try to explain your dream to someone and it makes absolutely no sense. So I don't know about
The
you
Looney
guys,
Tunes
but
were there. Michael
And
Jordan
Michael
was
Jordan.
there.
And they were in
Newman was
space.
there. Bill Murray.
yeah, I don't know about you guys, but this is right on par with the weird dreams that I can have sometimes. But that's a discussion for another day.
Hey, write them down. Make some movies, apparently.
I guess I need to, right?
I'd write mine
But
down, but those would be in an appropriate category.
A movie's a movie. Oh, you're a producer? Yeah. What kind of movies? Just movies.
it just depends on the studio you bring
Yeah.
it to, right? Yeah. So before we jump in, fellas, I guess I kind of we've talked about it a little bit already, but want to gauge your reactions going into this movie. Were you excited to restart the movie, or was this something you were dreading? Somewhere in between. What are we feeling here, John? Let's start with you.
So I kind of had dual feelings on this. I was very excited to watch it again because I do love this movie, but I was also a little scared and apprehensive to watch again to make sure that I don't feel different about it, because it's one of those nostalgic movies that you're like, man, I can reference it all the time and I love it. And you're like, am I really going to like it now? So I was a little bit of both, little bit of both.
Totally. Marcus, what you got?
Well, to be fair, I watched this movie probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago with my kids because the new one was coming out. And so I wanted to watch this one with them. So I kind of already had an idea of how I would like it or not. But yeah, either way, I was excited to see it again.
Speaking of, did you guys all watch the new one, or are you not watching it?
No.
I did
Negative.
watch it.
You did watch it. You're
And
the only
I
one
did
of us that
not
watched
like it.
it. Ooh. See, that's
I'm not
why
a
I didn't
LeBron
watch it.
James fan.
Marcus thinks LeBron is the GOAT, though, so.
No. No. I'm not a LeBron James
Get him,
fan.
Brett. Talk
Moses-
sports ball with him.
And I mean, to be fair, maybe back in the day if I was old enough to really care, I maybe wouldn't be a Michael Jordan fan either.
Charles Barkley
Just
was in the movie, though.
because, yeah, just because as a Suns fan, crushed our dreams. But I was too young to really care about it at the time, so I like Michael Jordan.
All right, opinions about basketball stars aside, Keenan, what did you think going into this movie?
So it's kind of similar to Marcus. I mean, I have my kids, so I watch a lot of these kid movies, and I don't know. Coming back to this one, I was a little nervous just because it is an older movie. It's live action mixed with the animation. And I just kept thinking about like the bunny in the movie, how he wears the red overalls and the blue bow tie and the yellow gloves. And I thought it was going to be weird that like they're trying to figure out who murdered this animator producer. And I don't know. I couldn't figure out why this was a kids movie.
Oh, that's some bad news, Keenan. I think you may have watched the wrong movie, bud.
No, the live action with animation, starring a rabbit.
Is that Brad Pitt movie? Cool World. Whatever it was called.
So it's funny you actually brought up that movie because I do have something to talk about when it comes to that in a little bit. So we'll table that. It took me so long to figure out what movie you were actually referencing. But I'm also right in the same boat. Like I remember absolutely loving this movie. Again, when I was a child, I did not have my choice in what I could watch. So naturally, every movie I owned was equally the greatest movie in the world. But also, I, as an adult, realize I'm not like married to the Looney Tunes or sports ball in any way. So I was like, all right, this is going to be a bumpy ride. So
You're going to be married to one of them at the end of this podcast.
that's what I'm
We're
saying.
excited about it.
That's what I'm saying, right? All right. With that, guys, I think it's time to jump into our scene by scene of the movie here. Starting with the opening scene here. Right away, we're met with R. Kelly's I Believe I Can Fly. What do you guys think about that song? And did it have as much of an appearance in your childhood as it did in mine?
Oh,
All my middle
absolutely.
school dances, yeah.
Probably.
I remember having this soundtrack as a kid, and I loved it. Every song in this movie is a banger.
100%.
Soundtracks in the 90s were the best.
Yeah, this like so the R. Kelly song, great. That's not even the best opening song. It's the one like follows right after the scene in
Yeah.
the beginning. But I don't know about you guys, but and I feel like we all went to school before the internet, but there was always like this network of things that kids all knew from no matter what school you went to, like somehow. Like it for me, the things that were like Bible for kids where how to draw that weird S thing. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Super S.
The Griffey Super S. The fact that Marilyn Manson removed one of his ribs, right? The old high school.
I do remember that.
But the third one that kept coming up, and I would like the first parody song I ever made was like, or I ever knew of was like one sung to me by kids on the playground, and it was the R. Kelly's "I Believe I Can Fly," and I sung that because I thought it was hilarious to people that I didn't go to school with, and everyone knew it. So let me read off the lyrics to you, and I say read off, but I'm saying them from memory. I believe I can fly. I got shot by the FBI. All I wanted was a chicken wing and a Whopper from Burger King. Did you guys hear that parody song in school? Please tell me.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know how.
Not me.
Not you. You
Oh,
guys went to the
sorry,
same
Mr.
school,
Private
right?
School.
I didn't hear it either.
All right. If you're listening and you heard that or
I
your
definitely
own
didn't go to
version,
private school.
please let us know.
I don't want people to think that I'm
Yeah.
some rich guy.
Mr. Richie Rich over here going to his private
Yeah.
school, driving around in his rocket car, going home to his gold mansion.
I grew up in the ghettos of Phoenix, Arizona.
All right,
Ghettos,
yeah, but
man.
I couldn't talk about that song and not bring that gem up. But it cuts to a young Michael here playing basketball after midnight when his dad comes out. And I have to say, most supportive dad ever. Like, I don't know about you, but if my parents caught me outside playing basketball being loud after midnight, I would get my ass beat.
Hey,
What are you doing
he
out
saw
right
the
now?
look at-
Get inside.
Yeah.
Until he saw him make 2 shots in a row, and then he's like, "This kid made
Ka-ching, ka-ching.
Dollar signs in the eye.
You can see the actor's look too. He's like, "What?"
He's like, all right, maybe 15 more minutes.
Yeah, but then the dad roasted him. He was like, "Oh yeah, basketball's all right. Baseball's a real sport."
Yeah, and you know, we talk about basketball a lot, but you know, MJ was a true baseball star, so that was I made a sports joke, guys. Oh my god.
I had to look up because I was
Yeah.
curious what his batting average was while he played baseball. He batted a 202. That's not great.
That is a number.
That is low.
Okay. He hit the ball 202 times. Nice.
That's exactly what it means.
Out of 1,000.
Good job. Yeah.
Hey,
Thanks. I like to think you guys are rubbing off on me.
It's true.
he's a sports fan. It's happening.
Good job.
Thank you. But then we get to probably the greatest, opening song of all time, right? The Space Jam theme song. And I forgot how much I love that song, so hearing it again was amazing, right?
And
yeah.
I mean the whole like opening credits, this like the montage thing, hyped you up. It also
Yeah.
gives you a seizure, but it hypes you up.
I paused the movie just to go watch his documentary on Netflix again, The Last Dance, and then I went
So
back to the
good.
movie.
I mean, that was probably the appropriate time, right? Since it's just advancing throughout his whole career, basically, during that.
It's like
during the whole
watching
montage.
Star Wars in that machete order or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
If you didn't know who Michael Jordan was, you could just watch that and be like, "Oh, he's really good at basketball." All right, that's all.
Likes to
all
dunk
I
the
need to know.
ball. Yeah.
Or like if you've never heard of Michael Jordan and you'd be like, wow, they really committed to this role. They like took photos of this guy as he was aging all these years, like for this movie. Wow, good job, studio.
Just one thing for the opening too is that if you just like basketball or Michael Jordan, you're already sold on this movie with the song as well. You're like, this is going to be the greatest movie of all time. And I think that's pretty special.
Now, are you saying this in 2021 or 2022? Sorry, I'm not used to that. Wow, or as a child.
Both. Even watching it now, you're like, this is amazing. Like Marcus said, it pumps you up, and you're just like, well, I'm gonna like this movie already. It's just Michael Jordan.
Personally, I was ready to jam.
And slam, even, yeah. All right, but then we meet our antagonist of the movie, which I did not realize as a child that was Danny DeVito. So that was amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, that's Danny DeVito. How did I not realize that? I also didn't know who Danny DeVito was as a kid. Despite him being in 3 of the movies I owned, this one, he was Phil in Hercules and Matilda. How did I not put that together?
I was gonna say the Penguin.
Yeah,
The
he was
one
the
I really knew him
Penguin.
from.
Penguin
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
And Throw Mama from a Train. Different movie.
Welcome to the
Penguin.
Danny DeVito
Twins.
podcast.
I'm good with that. Let's do that. We just tackle a new Danny DeVito thing every week. Oh my gosh, I'm so there for that.
He was in an episode of Friends as a stripper.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
He's in my dreams.
He's in
It's a
all
whole
of our
episode right
dreams.
He's in all
but
of our hearts.
Don't say that because that makes it sound
I was
like
like,
dead.
wait, did I miss something? When did that happen?
Yeah. But it cuts to Danny DeVito saying, he's the customer is always right, as he's being his little executive self there. And I don't know why, but like 2022 me was like, ugh, like that made me cringe. Like I feel like that is a very for lack of a better term, boomer mentality. Like the customer's
Huh.
always right. Oh, do you want to clock in? You can come work here. Like I know that we're out of stock of something. You don't know that, so I don't know. I just feel like that mindset is outdated, personally. But then he talks about wanting some new attraction for his theme park that the kids are starting to hate. People don't like it. It's not cool. It's not hip enough. So what do you guys think he
They're
does?
dying on rides. Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
like your fucking rides. They're about to be
It's part of
murdered
their
on them.
culture.
That kid gets slammed off the roller coaster, and he's like, "This place sucks." I would have been like, "Take me to a hospital."
This place is lame, Dad. I should have definitely been maimed on there.
I couldn't remember. Like I was anticipating. I was like, okay, I remember he wants them for the theme park ride, but I couldn't remember how we went from we need new attractions to bring us the Looney Tunes, and they literally just show them on TV, and he's like, yeah, bring me them, and I was like, that's kind of unrealistic. But then I stepped back and thought about it, and it's totally not. How many like TV executives or like producers and stuff do you see now will see like some hip trend on TV, and they're like, yeah,
Or
do
social media. It's all
yeah,
driven
dude.
by social media right now.
do the TikTok dance on our ad. They love it. Like I think Wendy's did like a meme in one
Burger
of their
King
commercials.
did, I think, right?
Burger King, that's what it was,
The
yeah.
king does like a TikTok dance.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, this is like sadly on point to how it would work, and it hurt
Don't
my
worry.
soul a little bit.
We're going to do the masked singer. Then we're going to do the masked dancer. Then we're going to do another song about being masked and dancing and singing at the same time. They're completely different shows, guys.
What could go wrong? But then, so we now know that they have a mission to pick up the Looney Tunes. So how do they get to the Looney Tunes? So if you're like me, you're wondering where the Looney Tunes live, right?
Not anymore.
Look no further than apparently under the ground of a Piggly Wiggly grocery store. Is that a grocery store? We don't have those here. In New York, apparently under the parking lot. That is where Looney Tunes live. So if we have any New York listeners and you can confirm that, please let us know. So then they arrive. The aliens arrive in the Toon World after watching all of the Looney Tunes on TV and have a hard time identifying Bugs Bunny for some reason. So
I didn't really
had
think
fun
about
with
that.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, we're looking for Bugs Bunny." I just saw him on TV 5 minutes ago, but I don't know what he looks like.
But to be fair, sometimes Daffy Duck and Elmer Fudd have a hard time identifying Bugs Bunny when they're chasing him, and
No, that's true.
they live there with him.
I mean, he puts those glasses with the mustache and the nose on. He's
He's
a completely
gone.
different guy.
Or
where
that
did Bugs go?
sexy lady dress or whatever he'll
Yeah.
do sometimes.
Who is this sexy bunny here? Don't quote me on that. Quote me on that. I don't care.
Oh, we'll be quoting on that a little bit later in this podcast.
Yeah, we definitely will. I have some notes for that too. I know we're all talking about the same thing.
We're all thinking it here, guys.
All right, so yeah, like during the scene, it's setting up the stage. It cuts to Michael being on the baseball field and everyone just being so happy to be around him, like even the opposing team helping him out.
That scene is so good because I feel like that's how people truly act around somebody like Michael Jordan, especially at that time.
Oh, I would.
Before
100%.
before the internet and before all that stuff, and Michael Jordan is just like mega celebrity.
I would have had a tee set up for Michael Jordan to come and just smash dingers off of.
So I guess I got to ask you guys then where the line is, because if you're Michael Jordan and the pitcher or the catcher is like literally telling you what ball is going to come next and you miss it anyway, and you go home and you watch the news report about yourself that says you suck, like, can you be handed anything else that would make you better at baseball? Like, at what point, like, for me, I would be like, yeah, I'm not meant for this, and I would have quit right there. Where's the line?
They could have handed you steroids.
Oh, that's fair. We haven't really explored that option.
I was gonna say, if you quit though, that's why you're not Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
He doesn't quit.
That's
got that
fair.
Winner.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
competitive
Up until
mentality.
me quitting, people have a very hard time telling if I'm Michael Jordan.
Seeing double here.
Yeah.
4 Michael Jordans.
That was a cool part of the movie, though, is that they actually, I feel like he was flaunting for everybody and kind of making fun of how his life really was. And so it was, watching it now, I appreciate that scene way more than I did back then. Because I feel like it was deeper then.
Yeah, that definitely picked up more there than like I did as a kid, for sure. And that goes to the whole movie, and we'll talk about that. But then we meet Stan, who becomes Mike's right hand man, whether he likes it or not.
Newman.
Yeah.
I still think about Newman's death. I still think about his death all the time, and it saddens me.
What?
But Jurassic
Did Wayne
Park.
Knight die?
I was gonna say, what the fuck?
Has everybody
man?
died in this podcast?
Okay. To me, he is the guy who dies in Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are you saying right now? Did I not know that Wayne
No.
Knight died?
I don't know him as Wayne Knight. Okay.
I just watched Seinfeld the other day. He was fine.
That was the first thing, is like, what Seinfeld quote was he doing? I was like, wait, they never say that. Onto Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Okay, Wayne Knight has some range, is what we're saying. Is this a Wayne Knight podcast, guys?
I just want to say right now that I Googled Wayne Knight because I was afraid that
He was
died.
with us.
As of right now, he is still alive. 66 years old. And he's also 5'7". Just wanted to put that out
You guys
there.
are bros. Like, with Jurassic Park, everyone always had like their the dinosaur they feared the most. Mine was the one that killed him, that little tiny thing. I don't even know what that's called. Was that like a dildosaurus or something?
Sounds right.
It starts with a D. I don't remember.
Shoots stuff at you,
spitter.
kills you.
Yeah.
Dildo Spittersaurus?
Yeah, that sounds right. But Stan brings Mike home, and this is where we see his kids watching the broadcast.
And his shockingly tiny house.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
this is where the movie gets the most unrealistic, is how Michael Jordan lives in a regular house.
With neighbors.
In the middle of the suburbs.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Mean, now, hear me out here. I don't know the teams. Was the team that the baseball team he was on, was that a fake team for the movie?
It might be a double A or a triple A.
Yeah, it's a minor league team.
Yeah, I was gonna.
So
it had an actual MLB patch on the arm.
Yeah, it's
so
the real.
I'm guessing
AA,
it was.
I think.
Yeah.
So is it common for players to like maybe buy a smaller house or something where they're playing?
Not if you're Michael Jordan.
Don't.
I think it's common for minor league baseball players to probably not own houses. I don't think they make a lot of money.
That's true. Yeah, live in hostels that don't even exist.
I mean, we already know MJ's got that basketball money, so he can just buy a house if it's temporary for sure.
He's got that. McDonald's money, that Hanes money, that Nike's money,
Yeah.
Wheaties money,
Gatorade.
Big
Gatorade.
Mac. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
everything, Brett. Everything.
But also, you keep in mind, it's 1996. He's not buying a house in 2022. So it was very affordable back then, that's for sure. And that who knows how long he had that house before then. So there's that.
That's
Yeah,
his,
I don't see him having
holiday
neighbors.
house.
Yeah.
I like to imagine that's literally his doghouse for the rest of his life.
Also, have you guys ever in your, like, honestly, in your life, not on TV, not in movies, have you ever seen a dog house?
Yeah, we had a doghouse.
made
when we
one.
had a
I
dog.
have never seen a doghouse in person, let alone one that had the dog's name on it.
Yeah, it didn't
Charles.
look that nice, but I'm not.
Sick burn.
I'm not Michael Jordan rich.
Sick burn on
The
Charles
doghouse
Barkley.
was nicer than my bedroom. Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough.
I don't know if that was an insult or an honor. Like,
That was
on one hand,
accidental.
I'd be happy that I got a dog named after me, but also, I don't know. I don't know about that.
That dog was a knucklehead.
Not right after you just. Not right after he just beat you in the NBA Finals.
Oh,
Still hurts.
Sports references. I got it. Yeah. Okay, so then we cut back to the kids watching the broadcast. Your dad sucks. We get it. Michael doesn't like to hear that for some reason. Turns it to cartoons, and then it's like, there you go, and then he leaves. And then there's an emergency toon meeting called, so the toons have to leave the show, which implies that all cartoons are live, to then go learn about these invaders who want to take them back and take them to be slaves. But quick thinking Bugs Bunny puts a stipulation in the rule book that he just invented that they need to have a chance to defend themselves. And my biggest complaint with this is you could have just written anything in the book. Hi, we're here to take you. Oh, you can't. It says so in the book. And it
It's
just says,
illegal
no, you
to
can't.
take us.
Yeah, no, you can't.
You could probably actually find that in a book, an actual book. You cannot kidnap people.
And then they see that and they're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, totally, for sure.
It is in the book.
And so, I mean, I don't know about you, but I would have chosen something to fight them in that I actually already did. Like, nobody played basketball out of all of them, so I don't know why that would have been the choice. But
I mean, one
what
of
would
them
you guys
does
have
play
picked?
basketball.
If
We'll
you
get
could challenge...
back to her later.
That's for sure. If you guys could pick anything to challenge the Monstars, who are not the Monstars yet, but the Monstars what would you have challenged them in?
So now or 96? Because I probably have a different answer for both.
Well, I mean, let's hear both.
All right, so 90s, I would probably challenge them to a game of Pogs because that's probably all I knew.
Oh, hell yeah.
Good call.
Get that slammer.
Now, I would probably challenge them to probably a video game. NBA.
Which one?
2K22.
Could have saved so much time.
You guys don't have thumbs? Tough break.
Well, no, instead of going and stealing basketballs, like players, like they just go and like one of them steals PewDiePie's powers or something. One's ninja, yeah.
Shit.
That would have been a great adaptation for this movie. I mean, maybe not great, but it would have been an adaptation.
Does something similar happen in the new movie, Marcus?
They do. They copy other players, like Diana Taurasi. She gets copied. I think Damian Lillard gets copied. It's all digital. Like they're in like a digital world instead of.
It's not as cool as this
basketball
one.
players.
Interesting. All right, Marcus, what would you
Anthony
challenge
Davis.
the Monstars in?
Being tired constantly. As an old man now, I'm tired constantly. I think I could beat them at that.
I respect it. And
Sir, you
we'll,
just
we'll,
woke up.
we'll wrap this up so you can
Sorry.
get to bed.
Either that or
Uh,
podcasting. We're great at that. You guys be my dream team.
Oh.
John, what about you? What's your game pick against the Monstars?
Man, I could be easy, and I would probably say the same thing, something to deal with height, because I would be a sizist like them on the movie and judge them by that. But I kind of want to say a match of Super Smash Bros. 3 stocks.
All right, who are you picking?
To beat them,
Yeah,
Lucas.
Lucas. Okay, I respect it. Lucas. So do you play Ness as well, or just Lucas?
Nope, Lucas and Captain Falcon.
So you're a masochist. I see.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So if it was '90s me, I would play them. I almost said Pogs, Keenan, but any of you guys do Crazy Bones?
Nope.
Nope.
No. Oh. So Crazy Bones were like these little things like you'd buy in a little pack, and it was just like a weird little shaped figurine. And the game that you would play, and my mom gave me lunch money every week, and I didn't eat lunch with it. Instead, I bet kids for Crazy Bones at lunch, and I lost all of it, so that was cool. Was basically you had to take this little figurine, and the game is that you try to throw it on the sidewalk, and whoever gets closest to the sidewalk crack wins.
Oh,
And then
shit. I remember this.
you did play it,
Yeah. I
Okay.
fucking hated those.
Dude, Google Crazy Bones right now. I'm telling you, I'm about
You'll
to take you
remember
out
'em.
in this. Yeah, for sure. So then there were all sorts of you could play for fun, whatever. Nobody did that. You could play for keeps, meaning whoever won, you got to keep their Crazy Bones, or you could play for money. And I would always bet my lunch money, and I would lose. I got good at the end, but that's what I would play them on. Now I don't have any skills whatsoever, so I would just admit defeat and go work in their amusement park.
Now you could play them for Crazy Bones. Like, when you wake up and you have that crazy bone.
When
Hey.
Or when I wake up and stand on 2 feet for the first time and all of my bones crack and I'm like, dang, that was crazy. Either way. All right, so the challenge has been set. They're going to play in some basketball, and then it's time for the Monstars to power up, and they go and steal some powers. And I actually had a problem with this because they're sitting at one basketball game watching pros, and they took two players' powers right there, Charles Barkley and Patrick Ewing, right? And then you would think that they're all sitting there. Why would they all just not take their powers from that game? But then later on, it's revealed that, oh, here are all the players, and I don't know the other 3 players. I don't know if they were actual basketball
The
players.
only one I know is Muggsy Bogues because Short King. And back in the day when me and my brothers used to play NBA Jam, I remember we used to always play with him because he was like my dad's height. So it was always so impressive.
Really short.
So was he faster in the game or something, or like what? How did that that choice on the roster stack up against people who are the same stats but maybe taller?
We have to tell Brett the one thing that people really know Muggsy Bogues about, so you can impress people. This
What's
man,
that?
he won the dunk contest at his height.
So he could just jump really high?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's Webb. That's my bad. That's not true.
I don't know.
It's not
I don't
true.
know that one.
Yeah, that's not him. But no, Muggsy Bogues was just an amazing point guard, even
Yeah.
for his size.
So I should tell people a fact that's completely wrong.
You should actually, because then they'll correct you, and then it will be an interesting conversation.
And then I will admit how I was wrong, and then that will impress them. I love
There
it,
you
John.
go.
I love it.
You're in. You can't give it to them right away.
Nobody loves it more than anybody else would. Oh wait, that sentence didn't make sense. People love it when you admit your mistakes and your faults.
But the other 2 guys, I did not know, and I was hoping John would know.
Patrick Ewing.
Unless Keenan knows. No, he already said Patrick Ewing.
Yeah,
the other
Patrick
2,
Ewing, Charles Barkley, and this guy,
Muggsy Bogues.
the tall white guy. I don't know who that was. Was that somebody?
That's his name.
Tall white guy. Yeah, I don't know.
We should have
John
fact
has-
checked this before
John's
coming
muted.
in here.
John, you're muted.
So you have Sean Bradley is the really, really tall guy that you see. You have Sean Kemp, who is an amazing dunker and just freak athlete. And then, of course, you have Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, Muggsy Bowl, or not Muggsy Bowles. But, yeah.
Okay. So all of that to say, those other guys weren't in the game that was being played, which is implied that the rest of them that didn't have powers just kind of sat there and then maybe came back the next night or several nights to that stadium to get these powers because they weren't all taken in one night.
Well, they would
So
have had to go to a different stadium because
yeah,
I think 2 of them were the Hornets.
I mean
And
that's true, but the Phoenix Suns were in New York where this was. So
Yeah.
And
But-
why did they close down LA? Like, who got taken from there? And then they were all over the map.
Hang on 1 second. I feel like we're
We're
all going to
gonna say
ignore the
same
fact.
joke.
We're all going to ignore the fact that they were in a raincoat and they made like a jerk off joke in a kids movie. That's definitely what the lady was thinking. She was just
Oh,
like,
100%.
this guy in a raincoat next to me is doing something weird, and purple goo just dropped on the ground.
that's how you know it's a good one when it comes out purple. Ooh.
Yeah.
Those are the
Working that
best.
body like the
Ray
song.
Romano's wife.
But also, I guess I have questions. Could anybody else see that? Because it slithered on the court, it possessed these people, but it seemed as though nobody else saw that. I think she was more scared that the trench coat just collapsed afterwards. So
And that's Homer Simpson.
that's up to interpretation, I think.
Her,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
the guy
assuming
sitting
husband.
there.
That's Homer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Deborah's first husband.
Do it, Brett. Do it, Brett. Ray Romano, do it, Brett.
Deborah. I don't get to do that very often.
I feel like that's my equivalent to like the truffle shuffle in Goonies, me making you do Ray Romano.
Deborah, it's all wrong. I forgot I could do that. Thank you. So now the Monstars have the power of the best players in the world. And so, fun fact: as they were stealing all of these powers, we mentioned it. Charles Barkley on the Suns, right? So again, I know nothing about sports, right? And so, what's so funny? So when I was in 3rd grade, we had an assembly at school. I don't know if you guys ever had that. They would basically just call the entire grade
An assembly? Yeah. Yeah, we've had those.
Yeah, well, I don't know about. I meant more like Marcus in his private school.
I was like, not special.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever had that, like in your like.
Yeah, that's when we had our caviar and ribeye.
They just gave everybody their daily allowance there of $2,000. No, but so we had a school assembly, and it was the entire 3rd grade that came to this assembly.
Gross.
Don't make jokes about.
Hey, they're all of age now.
I guess that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. All right. Anyway, so the entire 3rd grade was in attendance at this assembly, and it was at the time the Phoenix Suns coach who came to the school with the Suns gorilla. And I don't know what the point of the assembly was, but all I know is that my class was the last to arrive, so we sat in the very back, and the Phoenix gorilla was there just hyping everybody up, right? And so they had 5 little, like, I don't want to say stuffed animals because they weren't animals, they were basketballs, but like soft, squishy little plushy basketballs that were autographed by Suns players, and he had 5 of them, and he was calling up people in the audience that could answer Phoenix Suns trivia. And I was like, well, I've watched Space Jam. I got this. So he calls like people up, and the first kid goes up. There's 5 balls. The first kid goes up. He asks them a question about the Suns. I don't know what it was. I don't know basketball or remember because this was in 3rd grade. Second
What
guy
color
goes
is the basketball?
up.
Is this all 3rd graders, by the way, or is there like multiple grades in this thing?
This is all 3rd graders in my school. I don't know if there could have been other grades. I don't know. I only knew the third graders personally, and
So,
not
like,
even all of them.
40 kids?
No, there was a lot more than that. There's probably hundreds. So maybe it was other grades. Yeah, yeah. So then, whatever. There's 5 balls. So there's more questions. The questions are like, can you name a couple like Phoenix Suns players? So people go up there and they name some players, whatever. Then it gets to the last ball, and it's he's like, okay, I need one more person who wants to answer this question. And I'm like raising my hand in the back. It was like the question was, name 2 Phoenix Suns players that haven't been said yet. And I'm in the very back row waving my hand, and the Phoenix gorilla sees me, points to me across the entire cafeteria, runs around, grabs me and picks me up and throws me over his shoulder and brings me to, like, this was the highlight of my life at the time, right? Brings me to the front of the stage and sets me down, and I get put down, and the coach, whatever, asked me, he's like, name 2 Phoenix Suns players. And I don't know sports, guys. So at the time, I based my entire basketball knowledge off of 2 movies, and that was Space Jam and Like Mike. And so I knew 2 Phoenix Suns players from these movies. So I said Jason Kidd and Charles Barkley. And he goes, oh, I'm so sorry, but Charles Barkley's long retired. And I'm like, shit, I have no backup plan. What do I do? And he's like, do you have any other Suns players in mind? And I'm like, I had another one, but it was already said. He's like, did you just say Amari Stoudemire? And I'm like, no, I said I had another one, but I didn't know he was that. He's like, oh, you just said Amari Stoudemire. Get him the basketball. And he's like, the Suns gorilla goes and gives me the basketball. And I have, to this day, I have no idea what happened to that. And I wish I would have
Sports
named
fan.
it.
Sports fan.
Yeah.
Sports
I know.
Yeah.
King.
So all of that to say, Charles Barkley played for the Suns, guys. I don't know if you knew.
And Jason Kidd and
True.
Amari Stoudemire.
Yes. So that was right there. I was a sports fan, but it basically fleeted after that moment.
No, it just took a vacation. It's coming back.
Took a vacation. You got it. Yeah.
Paused.
So moving along here, before we see Mike about to get sucked into the Toon World, we have one final shot of the I guess the creation of the Monstars as they go to basketball practice. You know, the Toon Squad is practicing on their court, and the little tiny baby aliens come and take their powers out of the basketball. They get giant. They squish the ball, and then they leave. You know how basketball practice goes. So right then and there, they kind of realized they had something. They had bit off more than they could chew, and they need some help. So where do they get this help? And then it immediately cuts to the ultimate golfing party, and that is Michael Jordan, Bill Murray, and who I didn't know at the time, which I learned today who this was, was Larry Bird.
Sports fan. Sports fan.
Like, they kept saying the word Larry, and I was like, I only know one Larry Bird.
It's
And
Mr.
is that
Larry
him?
Dan.
And I looked it up, and it absolutely is Larry Bird. And the worst part is, do you want to know how I know who Larry Bird is? From the Riff Raff song Larry Bird. That's it. That's the whole story. I don't know. But anyway, but also, can we compare? I wanted to ask you guys this because I don't know anything about sports records and stats. Who had better stats? Was it Larry Bird or Michael Jordan?
I mean, Larry Bird was in his prime, I think, earlier than Michael Jordan. So it's a little hard to compare the two.
The only reason I'm asking is because if you're going to take one of these people and recruit you, would it have made more sense to take Larry Bird, or was Michael Jordan the only choice? No?
Jordan was still in his prime.
Michael Jordan was in his prime, yeah. He retired, but he retired way early.
He retired, like, on top?
Yeah, after winning 3 championships.
Oh, did he win a lot? I don't know. I wasn't there. Yeah.
But
By himself, no help from his team.
Larry Bird is a choice, but yeah, he's old.
Okay. I know nothing. I want to get your guys' opinion. But yeah, so here's where Michael gets sucked down the golf hole, and then Bill Murray and Larry Bird are just like, yeah, maybe he wanted to get away from Stan. And trust me, I have social anxiety, and I've done some crazy things to get away from people. But being sucked down a golf hole, that's a new one.
Any scene with Bill Murray in it in this movie was instant gold.
A delight, right?
He's so funny in this movie, and he's only in this movie like 3 total scenes or something, probably like 5 minutes
It is
at
like
most.
5 minutes.
But like every line he says is hilarious.
I just keep, every time I think of Bill Murray too, I think about his death too.
Come on, man.
In Zombieland.
I know what
Zombieland.
you're talking about.
Do you have any regrets?
Garfield, maybe.
Garfield.
Such a great death. Oh.
I love how
Like-
Emma Stone laughs after he dies, and she's just like, "He just gets me."
I'm sorry.
Like, real quick, anybody name a better death in any movie than that? I can't think of any. Oh, so good. All right, so after Mike gets sucked down the hole, he's introduced to the Looney Tunes, and it's just me, or was he really calm about the whole situation?
I was thinking about that, and I might have had the same reaction because I probably would have thought that I am making this up. I am having a mental breakdown. Just go with it and have some fun.
Just enjoy it.
Like he's literally just like, what's going on here? Like, not even like concerned, just like, all right, come on, what's up, guys?
I've seen you guys on TV. You're clearly real. What's going on?
It was all the kiss. That's all it took. Just a big kiss from a big bunny rabbit, I guess.
That's all it would take from me.
I'm sure with how famous Michael Jordan was at the time, and again, mega celebrity in the world, I'm sure he was part of the Illuminati and was given information that the rest of us peons don't know, and he already knew that cartoons are real.
That's coming from private school Marcus.
Don't tell anybody. I'll get my rich card taken away from me.
Hey, what was your classmate Mark Zuckerberg like?
He actually is a robot.
They allowed them into your class. So Mike gets introduced to the team and their new practice gym, which is just disgusting. But after a quick spit shine by the Looney Tunes, it's up in top performance. Now I need to ask you guys, and I'm gonna need you to not judge me here for a second. But did anybody else spit all over their room while they were cleaning it after seeing this, or was it just me?
What the fuck is wrong with you, Brett?
I didn't have a lot of friends as a kid, okay?
Hopefully you didn't have carpet.
I can't promise I'm not judging you, but no, I never spit on anything.
I don't do it now, okay? I just only sometimes. I don't spit every time I clean because the spit lingers. It's still clean from the last time. But after some convincing, Mike joins the team, and really we have our team set up here, and it cuts back to the players going through this crazy experience where they are all terrible at basketball now. So somehow the monsters only stole their ability to play basketball and nothing else. None of them experienced any other performance issues, which is a line that went well above my head as a child.
Did you call them monsters? Because they're not monsters.
Monstars.
They're monstars. Get it right.
My apologies. My apologies. Didn't mean to misspeak there. But back to
I didn't
practice.
go to college for 8 years to be called Mister.
We can't look like idiots in front of our listeners.
Listener.
Our listener, yeah.
No, yeah, sorry.
To whoever
Hi,
that
Mom.
one guy is in Russia that keeps listening to us, you're the real MVP. Was it
Doesn't
Russia
understand a
or was
word
it?
we're saying.
Yeah.
Hey.
These guys, they're funny. Maybe I shouldn't do an accent. Yeah, that's
You the
I'm not gonna
real
do that.
MVP is another sports reference.
Oh, Montel
That's
Montavious
true.
Porter, the WWE superstar. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, you ruined it.
Okay.
That's like I've had that one before, sir.
So I guess now is a great time to talk about what we've all been waiting for, guys. Michael realizes that, hey, these guys suck at basketball. And he asks, has anybody even played basketball? But someone has. Who is it?
Don't call
Nobody
her
wants to
doll.
say
I
it.
was like, don't call her doll.
Oh, I don't want to be canceled.
So
Some type of bunny.
this was actually the introduction of Lola Bunny, the iconic star that would, I guess, further add to the Warner Brothers Looney Tunes IP and give many a teenage boy a wet dream. Now, I need to ask.
Probably not teenage boys. Probably just like younger than
I was
teenage
like,
boys.
how old were we back then?
We were 7.
That age.
Marcus, I
Just kidding.
had this movie as a teenager.
I'm in my 30s.
Like, I have to ask, like, as an adult, like, okay, I don't know about you guys, but I had 4 crushes as a child, right? In order, they were number 1, Britney Spears. Number 2, Kimberly, the Pink Power Ranger. Number 3, Officer Jenny from Pokemon. And number 4 was Lola Bunny from Space Jam. And as an adult, I feel weird about having a crush on a bunny, but they wanted us to, right?
Oh,
They
it was
wanted us.
intentional.
Yeah. Like, down to the way that she spoke, the music that played when she was on screen. Even Tweety Bird literally said she's hot. Like, they wanted us to, right?
It
So
worked.
I don't feel bad.
They knew what they were doing.
So much so that I think on the new one, they said that they were purposely going to try to like desexualize
Tone
her
it down.
a little bit.
Yeah. So I did want to ask about that because I did see that they did that, and there was for a while when the new one came out, there were like side by sides of what Lola Bunny looked like and what she looks like now, and a lot of people were like pissed about that, and that's where I'm like, okay, that's weird to be pissed about. Like, if you want to go sexualize a bunny, go watch the original. You don't need more of it.
Yes, don't do anything else to sexualize a bunny. Please. I implore you. Just watch the movie.
Do what the original writers intended, okay? But like, to be so defensive about that now, that's strange to me.
I feel like we've talked ourselves into a corner on this topic.
Anyway, so moving on.
Where do we go from here?
Cut that.
Yeah. So now, basically, Mike says, if I'm going to play on this team, I need my stuff. I need my equipment. So Bugs and Daffy go on a little recon mission back to his house, and maybe I'm looking at this at a different perspective as an adult now, but at this point, it's nighttime, right? Michael went out golfing with his friends in the daytime. They didn't see him. You would think that if they were good friends, they would maybe report back to his family like, hey, we didn't ever see him. So it's night now. His kids are sleeping. There's been no sign of him. Do they know that he's missing at this point? And this wasn't ever mentioned in the movie here, but I'm wondering, like, if you didn't show up back at home after golfing with your friends and it's nighttime, I really doubt that your wives, those of you with kids here, would be like, oh yeah, he's out golfing. Like, it just seemed something was missing there.
The difference between us, though,
Was-
is billions of dollars.
What?
if you're Michael Jordan, your wife knows. Like, that's how it works.
Yeah, wasn't like Michael Jordan like he's like a known like
Yeah.
gambler and like
Gambler,
he likes to have fun,
woman.
and I think his wife
Okay, I did
knows
not
that
know
he
this.
likes to have fun.
All I knew about Michael Jordan was that he played basketball sometimes. So you guys are
Against
opening my eyes.
cartoons.
You guys, that's it. You guys have made me a sports fan.
Yeah.
Gambling, I'm
Get it?
There we go.
yeah. So then, the Toons are grabbing his stuff. One shoe is on a desk. Apparently, the other is on a pedestal. Don't know why that was, but we'll look past it.
You know when you
But-
come home and you just kick off your shoes in any direction?
Perfectly.
Like, I'll be honest. If I kicked off one of my shoes and it landed on a shelf high up, I'd be like, nice, and then I'd just go to bed.
Leave that shoe on a pedestal.
Oh,
Yeah. But then the kids spot them, and they help take his shorts away from Charles the dog, good old Charles, and they say, "Oh, your dad's helping us out. Don't tell anyone." Now, can you imagine being a child, waking up the next morning because your dad never came home, and your mom's like, "Oh, where's Michael? I don't know," and then your kid's like, "Oh, I know, he's playing a game with our cartoons." I would think that they went through some sort of trauma. What happened to my kids?
I'm confused about the timeline because they're sleeping when they go to the house.
Yeah.
The game happens, and then Michael Jordan comes back home at night during a baseball game. Was this all like in the same day?
Well, that leads me to believe that that's the next day, right?
Yeah.
The next day after
what
they
I
stole
think,
the
but-
stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at this point, Michael had been missing for well over 24 hours, but nobody suspects a thing. Maybe he was a little promiscuous. I think you guys are right.
it's all adding up now. You can
Yeah.
see it, Brett. Sports fan.
Sports.
That's part of it.
I mean, I
Yeah,
don't want
it's
to
in the
skip ahead,
details.
but at the baseball game, when the kids are like, "Oh, he's at his other game," and the mom's like, "What other game?" It looks like she's just like,
Yeah.
"Who's
Yeah.
oh?" Whoa! Yeah.
She like taking out her earrings.
Is it
hell no.
Oklahoma? Is it her again?
Yeah. But also, it's like they just showed up to the game like with no communication. Like, oh yeah, he'll be here. Like they did. I don't know. I'm just again communicate. That's all I got to say. Communicate
Before cell
with your
phones.
partner. Yeah.
Mhm.
Which
So-
one part in this scene you're talking about too, Brett, that I was wondering if you the sports fans listening to this podcast as well as here hosting with me, did you guys catch the reference from Daffy and Bugs Bunny as they were walking out?
What did they say?
Now I did when they were passing by the hole that Stan was digging. Is that what you're talking about?
Nope. So when they have the stuff leaving the house
No, I didn't.
Mm-mm.
What was it?
about their likeness.
Say it.
Oh, so
you're the only one here that
I was
knows.
waiting. That at that time, interesting enough, Michael Jordan was mega millionaire. Like he might have been a billionaire at that point, but only made his money outside of college. So that was a likeness shot at the NCAA for the movie. That you ever get any of that money? No, never.
Not a cent.
Not a
Yeah,
cent.
I
Burn
totally
on
understand.
NCAA. Deservingly so. Because the NCAA sucks.
So then, after seeing them go back into the hole, Stan knows where to go. Stan shows up, try to bring Michael back home. He's like, "Hey, you have a baseball game tomorrow." And Mike says, "I can't. I have to help my friends." And here we see a textbook case of Stockholm Syndrome. Michael was kidnapped, and now they're his friends. It took less than 24 hours. Are you okay, Michael? So, at this point in the movie, it's a cartoon. I've definitely suspended my disbelief about a lot of things, right? Like, oh, that doesn't make sense. But if you apply cartoon logic, it makes sense. This point, though, in the movie, this is where I this is the most unrealistic part of this entire movie, right? It cuts back to like the real world, the NBA. So these players have had their power stolen. Nobody really knows what's happening. They think it's some sort of illness. And the NBA does the most unrealistic thing I've ever seen, and they cancel all future games for health and safety. Can you imagine someone canceling things for someone's health and safety? It's crazy to me, right?
No, you just get a bubble. Put them in a bubble.
Bubble.
Put them in the bubble and then you screw the Phoenix Suns out of it.
Easy.
The
that's
perfect 8-0 Phoenix
Easy.
Suns. You screw them out of the playoffs.
Get him his medication. Get him his medication.
So I know what you're talking about, you know, as an avid sports fan. But for those who are listening that don't, could you explain what you just meant in a little more detail?
Well,
Go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead.
when COVID first hit, it was right around the end of basketball season. So they kind of just got rid of most of the regular season. And then they put the teams that were still alive in the playoff hunt in a bubble in Orlando in Disney. And they had like a little play-in tournament. The Suns were in it. They won all 8 games of their that they were supposed to win, and they still didn't qualify for the playoffs. And you know who won that playoff?
Get his
The
medicine.
Fucking LeBron
His
James.
medicine.
That was close.
I don't count that championship. It's fake.
Yeah, I'm glad you explained that for our listeners. That they definitely deserve to know. Totally. But now, guys, it's game time. So the game has started. It is the Monstars versus the Toon Squad, and you have an audience full of Toons and aliens alike, which I thought was funny because, like, you have Danny DeVito. I don't even know his character's name, but who's like, "Hey, go kidnap these people for me," and then he's on this planet watching a basketball game for some reason. If I'm a boss, I'd be like, "What were the steps in between here? Does he know about the rule to let them defend himself? Was he also on board with it?" I have many questions here.
They showed him the book. It's
I mean,
in a book.
It looked pretty legit, so I'm
It
willing
is
to let
in
that
the
slide.
book.
The problem I had with right at the top of this scene, Marvin the Martian is the ref of this game. Marvin the Martian is a Toon.
Yeah, isn't that a
Maybe
conflict of
call
interest?
some shit, dude.
They didn't call anything.
Yeah,
There was no reason for a referee because there was no traveling. There was no fouls. Even in the 90s, those should have been fouls.
Yosemite Sam had fucking guns in this game.
I marked down everything they brought on that court. I saw that they brought a Vespa on the court when Bugs Bunny does the delivery. They put TNT on the hoop. They do the Pulp
Classic.
Fiction guns. They have a fishing rod. And then there's also illegal side bets with Michael Jordan. But we'll talk about that later.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, guys. If sports was like this, I'd watch it.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, if you watched it, you would have, you would see that's pretty realistic.
Fair. But first half of the game doesn't go so hot with the Toon Squad. We enter halftime with a score of 18 to kind of one-sided, isn't it? And that's when they get a little pep talk from Mr. Bugs Bunny here, who basically tricks them all into drinking water. And so Bugs Bunny is basically the reason for their success. And I actually wanted to highlight this because Chuck Jones, the creator of some of these characters, was like pretty upset with the way that a lot of these characters were portrayed in the film because they weren't saying lines that were true to their character, and he had the honest belief that Bugs Bunny would wipe the floor with all of the Monstars single-handedly. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, I guess it depends on how much cheating is really involved, I guess.
How much cartoon logic is allowed?
I'm still questioning what was in that bottle of secret stuff. I don't think it was just water. There, maybe 99% water. There was something in there.
Just
It was.
a little bit of
it was
Michael.
tap.
Oh,
His sweat, Keenan.
I like them
Phil.
all
Still
too
gross.
much.
It doesn't matter what you would have said.
Damn it!
Still gross.
I
Bucks,
just
man.
like how they're all passing this around, and Stan's there. I would like some too, please. It's like, come on, Stan, you're not playing this game as much as you think that you are. But I was wrong, because we enter halftime here, and that's when, after they've had the motivational speech, the game takes a turn, and we have what is arguably the most chaotic 2 minutes in basketball history I've ever seen. You got Yosemite Sam and Elmer Fudd Pulp Fictioning, shooting the guy's teeth out. Sylvester pulling off the shorts of one of the Monstars, which, let me say, that guy was thick.
Caked up.
You see those
Caked
cheeks?
up, man.
You see those cheeks jiggle? What the hell? He had no right being that thick.
Was that the Charles Barkley one, though?
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah,
that
that's
was
Charles
Charles.
Barkley.
Yeah.
He's got a bookcase for ass.
And then Michael used Pepe Le Pew as a biological weapon, which can't be legal. Daffy sicked a bull on a player. Tweety beat up the entire team. Again, I would watch sports if it was like this.
I mean, they probably use smell tactics. I would assume there's probably some players that just don't shower, so they don't want to be like, people come up and they're like, I gotta guard this guy, but fuck, he smells like
That
shit.
smells.
I mean, looking at some of those Monstars, I would think that they smelled for sure. I can smell the smell right now. But that is when we had some illegal side betting.
So, I mean, I guess I don't know if it's illegal. I would say it's illegal. I mean, he's got some of the stakes, but essentially, it's if they win, they have to give back the powers to the NBA players, and if the Monstars end up winning, Michael Jordan's gonna have to be an attraction too, and lose every time. Which that would be devastating for Michael Jordan.
So it's funny you mentioned that, because I, as a customer, would not enjoy that. Like if I go to an attraction and one guy is chained up and I can run upstairs and drop the ball into the hoop, how is that fun?
If I go to any attraction and there's a guy chained up, I'm in the wrong.
I don't feel comfortable with this guy being chained up here. Can we let him go?
You just described every zoo. Congrats. No, that's a great point. So then after that, we saw the Monstars make their comeback after their initial downfall. Bugs get flattened. Stan gets flattened and then pumped back up. And I have to say, as a kid, I thought that was the funniest scene. As an adult, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
No change there. It's still hilarious.
I guess maybe now it's the quality of the CGI and whatnot. But that is when Michael learns that, hey, there's toon logic, and we need a fifth
That's
player.
bullshit. Earlier in the movie, he gets crushed into a ball that the Monstars use him to play basketball as.
Yeah, you should
didn't
know
figure
this
it out
tune
then?
logic,
Yeah,
man.
that was all normal back then for him, apparently.
I just chalked that up to him being a baller. So that's
Smooth.
nice sports reference.
Sports fan.
But we have the fifth member of the team. And so now it is Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Lola Bunny, Michael Jordan, and now a fresh Bill Murray joins the cast. And it's funny because, like, how'd you get here? He's like, I'm a friend of the producer, and he actually is in real life. So that was great.
The Teamster dropped me off.
Yeah, amazing. So it's our final play of the game. It passes around to all of them, but it ultimately ends with Michael jumping off Mr. Thickness himself, Toon stretching his arm, dropping in the ball in the basket for the final points.
Bill Murray got the game-winning assist.
He did, and he was
He
out
set
of breath
that.
from that.
He has the same endurance that I do.
All right, I gotta ice up my knees
He's out of breath from passing
immediately.
the ball.
Bill
Would
Murray
he play
in
like
this
6
movie.
seconds?
Yeah, there was 10 seconds left in the
Yeah.
game when he joined fresh, and at the end he's all sweaty and out of breath.
He is my spirit
The-
animal.
The most relatable character in a movie ever.
But that is the game. The Toon Squad wins. The Monstars transfer the powers back into the ball, and it's Michael's
But
got to go.
before they do, they send Danny DeVito on his way while they're bigger than him.
That is true, and I'm glad you brought that up. I was actually going to bring this up a little later. Now, if you've listened to Rotten Gems in the past, you know that we usually like to sum up or try to find the quote that sums up the movie, the lesson, the takeaway, the message that's supposed to be given to you in this movie. I didn't really find a single line in this movie that really could be the message of the movie, but a message was delivered and it is in the scene that you're talking about. It's a back and forth. So I did note that down here. But for those who haven't freshly watched the movie, basically, Michael Jordan turns to the now taller than him Monstars as Danny DeVito comes down and berates them, and he says, "Why do you take it from this guy?" And they say, "Because he's bigger." And then they collectively realize, as they deliver the line, "He's bigger than we used to be." And then they proceed to stuff him into a rocket and send him to God knows where. So I guess the takeaway and message of this movie is that the Looney Tunes, the Monstars, they're all pro-unionization. Workers seize the means of production and overthrow your boss. That is the takeaway I got. Unless anybody else has any objections, that's what Space Jam's about.
If any of my employers are listening, I don't agree with that at all.
Pro-union.
The views that Brett have expressed do not represent all of Rotten Gems.
They represent mine. But yeah, so sadly there will be no end line summing up quote, because that's what we got for this movie, at least. If you think
I'll
that the
come
movie,
up with one in the next couple of minutes.
perfect,
I got
and until
you.
Keenan does that, if you yourself
Michael-
can think of a quote that summarizes the movie, let us know.
Michael Jordan at that scene, I think, says something like, "See, you guys had it in you the whole time."
That was more around when they realized that the secret sauce, not the secret sauce,
No,
the secret
I think
drink.
he tells that to
To the
the
Monstars.
Monstars. Yeah, he tells that
does.
to the aliens.
That's fair. All right, so I guess if you are wondering what you should do,
Stand
it's
up to
not-
bullies.
It's not steal other people's powers because you have it in you all along. That's the takeaway.
Boom.
And,
Not unionizing.
Kind of needed those
And-
powers, though.
and workers need to seize the means of production. So, but with that being said, Stan's got to take Michael because it's time for his baseball game, and boy, does he make an entrance. We've already mentioned that Michael's family is in attendance. There's an angry, unruly crowd shouting, "We want Michael!" But an animated spaceship emerges from the sky. And I gotta ask, is it animated to everybody? Is it animated to just us? Because I would, one, be like jaw dropped if a spaceship dropped somebody off, but let alone an animated one. But then Michael emerges, but not after being introduced by Stan, who delivers the line that still actually gave me chills again, as it did when I was a kid. Does anybody remember the line Stan says?
Not
Well,
specifically.
Stan is the first one off the ship. He gets the loudspeaker and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Jordan." And then I Believe I Can Fly plays again.
Oh,
But also the crowd goes wild. And I got to ask, at this point, we know MJ's 0 for 4. He struck out 3 times. Would anybody be really cheering at this point?
Yes.
He is a mega celebrity.
All
I
right,
don't think
all
you
right.
understand.
I don't.
Michael Jordan could not go outdoors without having a group of at least 20 people surround him at all times.
Anywhere
That's
in
how-
the world.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
Okay, all right. I
So
guess
that's the movie. Is Michael
that's
Jordan?
that's it. That is the movie. And one last thing I want to say about the movie is, this movie, 1996. Do you guys remember GeoCities? If I were to
Yes.
say that, do you know what that is? So
Oh
Geo,
yeah, I know what you're gonna talk about. Yeah.
yeah. So GeoCities is like basically Yahoo was owned this, like, anybody could go create a website. I think you'd have to pay for it and make a website. The Space Jam GeoCities website from 1996 existed from 1996 all the way up until this new movie came out, in which they I guess reclaimed the spacejam.com URL to promote the new movie. You can you can actually still find the original 1996 Space Jam website if you just go to spacejam.com /1996. If anybody wants to go look at that right now, it is a delight to look at now in 2022. But all of the links, it's so 1996. Like, you click on it, like it feels like I'm a child again just looking at this website. So if you have a chance, I highly recommend you go take a look. But yeah, if you just go to spacejam.com now, it like is immediately just a trailer for the new one. So
They ruined that too.
they ruined it, but the old one still exists. Just /1996 at the end of it.
I remember
I'm
when
not
I was a
typing
kid.
extra.
I used
Yeah,
to
that's fair.
I used to have a GeoCities like Dragon Ball Z website.
Did you?
Put like Dragon Ball Z gifs and images on it. It was cool. Or probably not
Um,
cool. It was cool
He
to
had it
me at the
designed.
time.
He had it
Definitely
designed
cool.
by a professional designer. Costs like $5,000 an hour. Private school, Marcus.
Marcus,
If
just
you go to DragonBallZ.com right now,
yeah.
that's my GeoCities
I was going to say, for
website.
science reasons, do you know that URL? We can, just maybe jot that down for no reason.
No, I wish I did.
But that being said, that is Space Jam, guys, and we have some games to play here. Anybody else have anything to add before we move on to our final question of the movie wrap up? Do you guys think this movie still holds up? Keenan, what do you think? Does
Yes.
Space Jam hold up, and why?
Yes. Period.
Okay, cool. Love that for you. Marcus, what do you got?
Yes, I do think it holds up. Why? Because I enjoyed it. And that's why.
Fair. So, okay, let me ask two questions then. Did you still enjoy it on the rewatch? And two, does it still hold up? The answer to your questions both is yes to the first one. But taking yourself out of it, does the movie hold up?
Yes. Period.
Okay, cool.
I don't see why not. I honestly, I mean, obviously, again, with any movie made in the 90s or whatever, there's going to be graphical, issues like when Wayne Knight gets ballooned up, that doesn't look, what we're used to in 2022. But the overall movie, I feel like I don't see why it wouldn't hold up.
Definitely. Okay, good points. John, what do you think?
Yes, it holds up. For what Marcus said with the animation, I actually think it still looks really good, all except for that one scene where it does get blown up with a balloon. But you can watch it anytime. It still hits. And if you want to watch it the best way, just stop right after they win the game. End the movie right there. Don't watch the awful scene in the baseball stadium. And it's a better movie. So yes, still stands up.
Fair. So I'm gonna unfortunately have to say that while I did love this movie, I do not think it holds up, and I will tell you specifically why. It's not the sports, actually; it's the Looney Tunes. So I don't know about you, but Looney Tunes, like, what created in the '80s, right? Maybe even before that.
Oh
Like, the
no, they're
Looney.
way old. They're like there's like World War
Yeah,
II cartoons from like Looney Tunes, I believe.
So like 20 years ago, right? Yeah, for sure. But I guess my complaint wasn't even the basketball. Like I'm not a sports guy. I've made that clear, but I didn't mind it because this is not a movie for sports people. It's a movie anyone can enjoy. But like, don't get me wrong. Like at the time, the Looney Tunes, like awesome. I loved watching cartoons as a kid. Roadrunner, Coyote, awesome, all that. But tell me when you saw Tweety Bird tell me the last time you saw Tweety Bird aside from the $5 shirt rack at the local Circle K. Like
They have new
Tweety
Looney
Bird
Tunes
shirts,
shows.
Yeah, I was
Tweety
gonna say
Bird
I
shirts
think
at gas stations and like Dollar General, and
HBO
like it's
Max. I think HBO Max has a new Looney Tunes cartoon. I
I mean,
think
I guess
our generation, since you don't have kids or whatever, that you're not gonna see like the stuff aimed specifically for kids as much. But
that's fair. Yeah.
I think our
Now,
generation probably fell into a gap where there was a long space in between, where there was only maybe the occasional Looney Tunes movie, but I think they're still around.
so I guess let me ask you guys a question as parents because I'm not one. But are you showing your kids the Looney Tunes? Or are you showing them the more modern stuff? Because
Well, contrary to popular belief, I am not rich, so I do not pay for HBO Max unless I have to for this podcast. And so at the moment, no. But
so to me,
I did specifically show them this Space Jam and the new Space Jam. So I guess technically, yeah.
okay, all right. So to me, the reason I say it doesn't hold up is because to me, if something holds up, it means I could watch it today for the first time, no nostalgic value, and I would still enjoy it just as much as a kid. And I don't think that's the case. I think if you haven't seen this movie before and you watch it now, adult or I mean, I guess child, if you're showing it to your kids and they enjoyed it, then I can just fuck right off. But to me, I don't see the appeal aside from my nostalgia. But that is as somebody who grew up after the Looney Tunes and is not a sports fan. So we'll leave it at there. If you guys listening agree that it does hold up, or you disagree, or you have a different opinion somewhere in the middle, let us know. We're very curious on your thoughts here. But with that being said, guys, I think it's time we move on to a little game we like to call 7 Degrees of Who. Anybody have any choice
Wayne
for
Knight.
the movie?
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
God, I'm gonna suck at this one today, guys. So
Okay.
good luck.
So,
We're going Wayne Knight to start this off because that's going to open up so much.
okay.
All right.
All right. So
Nope.
Wayne Knight.
Oh yeah, we got to know who we're going to.
Yeah, so Wayne Knight, and we're going to do a random celebrity off of randomlist.com/random celebrities. And the first person on the list is Ashley Tisdale.
Oh, yeah,
This
for
will
a
be
movie?
interesting.
A movie she's been in?
Well, I mean,
yeah, I mean, there's a few.
there's
Okay.
3 movies
I was like, there's.
Yeah.
that I think
Yeah,
we
I'm
all
going to have
know
nothing.
of.
All
You
right,
only need to know.
Marcus, we got it. Okay, so we'll figure it out.
Okay, I'm going to just set it up for you guys to spike it
Do
as
it.
soon as you can. You guys have 3 to get it there. Because if it gets back to me, I'm fucking this up. All right, so we're going to go Wayne Knight to Samuel L. Jackson in Jurassic Park.
Good choice. Good choice.
I'll let's let John go.
Yeah, John. You're going off Samuel L. Jackson now.
Oh. All right. So Samuel L. Jackson was. Oh, we're getting. And hold on. And we're trying to make it to
Ashley
Tisdale. Okay, not Wayne Wright. All right.
Now, I guess question for the fellas here: are we strictly movies or is shows on the table?
Didn't we say we could do
If
one show
they
as long as
are
they're...
if they are regular, then
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, like if they're not just like a guest appearance, but if they're on like the main cast at least for a season, right?
yeah.
Does that sound right? Okay. So you do have shows as an option, John.
Gotcha. Okay. But we need. Jeez. All right. Samuel L. Jackson was. Actually, I'll make this hard. So I'm not going to do your three, Keenan. Was in Pulp Fiction with John Travolta.
So is this?
I
you,
actually
Marcus,
have a
now?
path.
That's up to you, Brett. Do you want to go?
You can go for it.
All right, John Travolta. Oh, I know. Was in The Punisher with Thomas Jane.
So we're talking that
The
was
good one.
Punisher 1, not Warzone, right? Warzone
Yeah.
was somebody else.
Yeah,
Who's the
I can't remember his name.
Was it Ray Park? Was it Ray Park? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think so.
Punisher, Thomas Jane. Okay. Thomas Jane, Ashley Tisdale. Okay. Huh. Okay. We could do this, but it would require them to know. So Thomas Jane to Michael Cera.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of.
Yep, and Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Vegan
I told
police.
you had 3, and you didn't do it. So we're pretty fucked.
Okay, so do what you got to do. Marcus and I were on the same wavelength here. We've got to get it back, so we have a 50% success rate here, maybe.
It's gonna go through me too.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it in the realm because I feel like that's our best bet here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I'm gonna go. Michael Cera was in Superbad with Jonah Hill.
Okay, that's still doable. Not the person.
That's great. That's great. Not the one we wanted, but it's great.
So can I?
Oh fuck!
I
Did you figure it out?
I don't see your
Figured it out?
path, so I'm.
I think Keenan just found the path.
Keenan knows. Yep.
But if John doesn't know the path, it would have stopped there anyways.
I could see in your face as it just came to you. That was amazing.
Let's. Okay. Dang it, now I can't remember that guy's name.
Right movie, wrong actor. God.
Yeah, you're
Damn.
one away, basically.
So Jonah Hill, I can't. You guys will know his name right away, but Jonah Hill was in. Oh, is it just called The End? Was in The End with.
This is the end.
This is The End with. Oh my gosh, the guy that just got canceled.
Doable, but I know who
Can't
you're talking
remember.
about. James Franco.
Yes, James Franco.
Okay.
Very
Here we go.
doable.
All right.
Very
all right,
doable.
all right.
'Cause
I'll
he's in a
lead
movie
it up.
with him.
Yes, James Franco was in Pineapple Express with. Should I ruin it?
No, we have people that don't know how to get there. Do it.
Seth Rogen.
Okay. Seth Rogen was in Neighbors with Zac Efron. Take it home, Keenan.
Zac Efron was in High School Musical. Take your pick with Ashley Tisdale.
All right.
That was 10.
That was
Wow.
not bad. That was not bad.
We could have ended it probably 3 earlier, but
Yeah.
Still,
I
not
was
bad.
trying to go Michael Cera for someone to go super bad
with
to Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
But
Or you could go with
I mean,
This Is the End with Seth Rogen. He was in that
that's
too.
true.
Yep.
That was a clean recovery though. I like that for sure. All right, guys. So I guess next we have a serious question that needs to be asked about the cast of Space Jam, and that is who we would bed, wed, or behead. So normally we take 3 people from this movie, and we choose which of those we would bed, which of those we would wed and behead. But I think for this special, should we make them all Looney Tunes?
I was going to say, for
Yes.
this special, should we make them all Lola
Michael
Bunny?
Jordan.
Yeah.
All Lola Bunny. John, since you are the guest, you can take my pick. So I will not pick, but I will do what is. I will make the choice based off of the 3 that you pick.
Gotcha.
Keenan, Keenan, who is your pick for Bedwetter Behead?
I'm going to go with Bugs Bunny.
All right. I'll go with Granny.
Also, is that just her name? I don't know her
I
name.
think that's just her name. Yeah, I think it's just Granny.
All right. For those that have no idea what we're talking about, it's the granny that is with Sylvester and Tweety Bird that has Tweety Bird in the cage, right? But yeah, okay, we're on board. John, who's your pick?
Let's see. Granny and Bugs Bunny. Tweety Bird.
Oh, you took it there. All right. We have a rabbit, an old lady, and a bird.
We're gonna get nasty.
All right. Since I didn't pick, I'm gonna jump right in here, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna wed Granny, because she doesn't know what's going on a lot of the cartoon here. So if I'm being forced to pick one of these, I would rather pick the person that probably won't be around much longer, so I can live the rest of my life in harmony.
And you get that sweet money when she passes.
I'm gonna bed Bugs, but only for the sole reason that feels less weird than bedding a bird. And I'm gonna kill Tweety. What do you got, Keenan?
Oh, I was 100% different on this. So I said I would wed Bugs Bunny. He's going to take care of you, and like if there's any problems, Bugs Bunny's going to take care of it. He always has an answer. Also, I've seen him in disguise as a lady bunny, and it works. So,
Role play nights.
Then with Behead, I chose Granny. She's on her way out, but at this point, it's probably just a mercy killing. And then,
my God, poor Tweety.
Tweety Bird. I'm sorry, process of elimination.
Oof.
Yikes.
All right, Marcus.
I think this is going to be the first time that I completely agree with Brett.
Wow.
For every reason he just said.
That's a Rotten Gems first.
The Tweety Bird thing really grosses me out.
Like, the bunny still grosses you out, but not to that same level.
Yeah. And then, the granny. Deal with it for a year.
All right, John, take us home.
I guess I'll be a little different here. So I would wed Bugs Bunny for the reason that Keenan said. Like, that bunny's going to take care of me no matter what now. He's going to support me, even if it is stealing or literally killing people. We're going to figure it out, and it's going to be great. I'm going to bed Tweety.
I'll see
you agree with Keenan?
Oh, yeah.
You get it.
Yeah. I need you to explain. If not for our listeners, for me, why would you bed a bird?
It's those eyelashes, man.
and over a granny, that I just couldn't, like. Sorry, Granny.
But she's human.
Right, but also a quick callback for our listeners. John is 6'7". And he's betting Tweety Bird a whole 6.7 inches tall.
I was thinking Toon Logic. I don't know what happened. Maybe I got lost in it.
All right.
And Granny gets the head.
That Tweety's out to make me do something.
All right, and that is our Bedwed Behead. All right, guys. So now, the whole reason we're talking about this movie is it rated poorly with critics. As you recall, it sat at a 45% on Rotten Tomatoes. So critics did not like it. So now we're going to do a little dive here and read our favorite bad reviews of the movie. And let's start with you, John, our guest of the show. What's your bad review you have of Space Jam?
Yeah, this review was by Ryan Gilby, And I actually found it quite hard to find a review that wasn't about like a specific type of the movie. Like there was a lot of 4K out, but it's just all these reviews aren't about what the movie was about, especially this review. It's mainly just bashing how this movie was made to sell things, and as well as the obvious plot hole that we talked about with the tune logic. Um, so I just found it where it seems very biased on the review, but that was my bad review.
Boo. Bad review. Marcus, what do you got?
I got a review from Rod Dreher, I think is how you pronounce it, from a South Florida Sun Sentinel. He wrote, Space Jam is not a movie. It's a feature-length infomercial for Michael Jordan Incorporated and a host of related corporations that made their product placement arrangement early. So pretty much what John said. The review was only about how this movie pretty much was a commercial for Michael Jordan, which, I mean, it kind of was, but it was a very entertaining commercial. And
What?
does that really take away from the movie if the movie is entertaining?
Like, come on, we all ignored that McDonald's in the beginning, that scene that didn't even need to be in there.
And
And
I felt like the joke that they, like when Stan lists all of his product placements,
yep.
I felt like that was part of the joke. Like people were in on it. It wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't like they were trying to be sneaky about it.
Yeah, I felt like that was the safe option, just to list all of the sponsors at once, so that way it was like, we know what you're doing, but you can also still get the airtime in for them if you needed them, or if I don't know if that was a joke or they had to do that contractually.
That's like satire, right? Where it's
Right.
like and I think that's missed by a lot of people when they watch it.
All right, Keenan, what do you got?
So I have a return critic. It's probably never let me down in the past. I feel like any movie we've done, he's probably given it a rotten score. Uh, James Bernardinelli from Real Views. And he says something completely different than your critics. I just want to I want to give him that credit. He doesn't point out the commercialism of this. He says this movie, which could easily just be called the Michael Jordan Worship Show, plays like a 90-minute homage to his airness, selling his virtue. So, not a commercial for ads and product placement, but just for Michael Jordan. And I enjoyed every second of it.
That's fair. And I guess I'll wrap us up with a review from Tim Brayton from I've never heard of this publication, but I'm intrigued. Antagony and Ecstasy. Don't know what that is, but I'm interested. One thing to note is that this review was made on December 4th of 2016, so well before the new Space Jam was in production. Someone just watched this movie in 2016 and thought to make this review. But Tim's review says, a mindless, feature-length insult to the dignity and perfection of the Looney Tunes. He gave it a 2 out of 10. So that is a 1 out of 5.
That's a
Wow.
low grade.
So I guess I have a couple complaints with his review. Do I like the movie still now watching it? Yes. Am I aware that a lot of that is my nostalgia speaking? Yes. Did I watch this movie as anything other than a mindless hour and a half? No. To call this movie mindless is doing what it's supposed to do, and an insult saying it's an insult to the perfection of the Looney Tunes. I'm sorry. Do you think the Looney Tunes are perfect? Like that to me is like it's just a weird review that he's going to idolize the Looney Tunes as, because okay, to me, and I didn't really think about it until watching this. When creating the Looney Tunes, was the height of comedy in the creation of these Looney Tunes giving characters a speech impediment? Like, think about it. Tweety has a speech impediment. Sylvester has a speech impediment. Elmer Fudd has a speech impediment. Daffy Duck has a speech impediment. Like, their big hitters all talk in a certain way that's just like limiting them. And it's like, was this the height of comedy? I don't know. I think the Looney Tunes are far from perfect. And that is why Tim Brayton and I have to say a big resounding fuck you to this review. But that is just me. If you listeners have any other opinions, please let us know. You can visit our Instagram, Rotten Gems. That's where we're most active. We have a Twitter, I think. I don't know. You're listening to us, obviously, no matter how you're listening to us. We are on all listening platforms. Your Spotify is our number one most common. But engage us. We like to hear what our listeners have to say. With that, though, that is Space Jam, the 1996 comedy that critics, again, gave a 45% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yes, critics believe that Michael Bay's Transformers is somehow a better movie than this one. And I gotta make sure we're on board here. You guys, Transformers, worst movie, right? Worst movie than Space Jam.
Oh, I thought you were saying like of all time. I could probably find worse movies, but yeah, definitely worse than Space Jam.
Yeah,
for sure.
Worse than Space Jam.
Worse. If you enjoyed us on our nostalgia dive back into 1996, join us next week as we do it again. This time we go a little bit further as we travel back to 1995 for the original Mortal Kombat. Keenan, do you have a quote that would summarize the message of this movie?
I told you I would figure it out within the time this podcast ended, and I did it. So I'm not going to give away who said it because you'll know it right as I start. But in the immortal words, do, time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. That's it.
You heard it here. You heard it here first. That is the message of Space Jam 1996. We'll see you all next time when we talk about Mortal Kombat. And for real, what do we always say, fellas?
Boom.
Get tough acting to Nacton.
Thanks, John Madden.
I've been MRI'd, EKG'd, X-rayed, laser beamed.